Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. I am once again at the legendary Sardi's, and I am sitting with one of the most in-demand directors, Leigh Silverman, who this year is Tony nominated for her brilliant work on the musical Suffs. How are you?
I mean, great. After that introduction,
I love
so
it.
much better.
And you got your purple on today.
Yeah, well, always. Gotta represent Suffs.
Oh, it's such a great show. Tell me what this Tony nomination means to you.
Oh, I mean, really, I think it's, so much of the work I do as a director is frequently invisible, kind of by design, particularly when you spend your career devoted to new plays and new musicals. It's really about birthing something new with a writer, and frequently the thing itself is what is representative of my work. And so in this particular case, to have this nomination, it feels like it's in support of the kind of hard work that it takes to work on a new musical and get it to Broadway.
Yeah. But this has had quite an interesting journey with Suffs. I mean, there's a lot of patience I would think you would have needed along the way, right?
Yes, it's so amazing about Suffs because the musical Suffs is about a group of women who work really hard to try and get something done over many years, and then us as the creators of the show and, have worked many years very hard to get something done, and it starts to feel like a very meta situation.
Yeah.
But it's been incredible. I mean, I first heard Shayna's music 10 years ago. And I was just like, this is an incredible talent, and she is going to be the next great voice in musical theater. And I would say since that moment, I have done everything I can to stay in whatever room I can where she is.
Were they songs from the show?
No, those were just her early concerts at Joe's Pub when she was first starting out. And of course, since then, she's written a number of musicals that have premiered at the Delacorte. And we had our premiere of Suffs. It was supposed to be in the fall of 20, and then it was going to be in the summer of 21. And then ultimately, we went into rehearsal in January of 22. And it was just a rough period. We were just coming back after COVID. I mean, we rehearsed with masks on. I mean, we had COVID supply chain issues. No one could do their best work. It was a very trembly, scary time. We all got sick. Our whole opening week was canceled. Our third extension was canceled. And I think one of the amazing moments that I get to appreciate now is how, it was so disappointing we didn't get to go in the fall of 20 when it was an election, but here we are in another election year. And in some ways, I think, we were headed for this moment all along. I have to believe.
No, because like I said, I think this is even a more important election year.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at when you look at Suffs, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was written yesterday. But I mean, just the journey all these women took. It never stops.
No, it's true. I mean, it's one of the things Secretary Clinton, who's one of our producers, says is that in order to get people to vote, we have to get them the message through the arts, because the arts is the most important vehicle we have to get the message out there that people need to vote. And that's why she came on board this show, and I think that's one of the reasons that this show has a kind of urgency in this moment right now. I mean, of course, it's entertaining and joyful, and it's a great piece of musical theater, but there's a real reason why this show is happening right now on Broadway.
I just love the journey the show has taken from the public to Broadway. I mean, I loved it downtown, but there's been a lot of changes made on this wonderful musical between the public and Broadway. What was that time like for you?
I mean, it was really, Shayna started to rewrite the show in the closing weeks at the public. And because she's in it, she could feel what was working, what wasn't working, where were audiences leaning in, where were they sitting back. And she could feel, some things that she knew she wanted to change even while she was still performing it. We've had 3 major workshops. We've had a big development period since we closed at the public. We had a turnover of our design team. I have a new partner in the choreographer, Maite Natalia, who is just brilliant, and her vision and co-leadership with me was really inspiring in terms of reinventing the show. We have the amazing new orchestrator, Michael Starobin. I mean, the show has grown and evolved and changed, and I think in some ways it has gotten closer to the original impulse behind it. At the heart, has gotten bigger. It's become a very heart-forward show, and that has been really exciting to lean into in this moment.
Yeah.
Scary. I mean, it's vulnerable. It's not necessarily what people expect, or certainly what they expect from Broadway, but I think it's what makes us feel so powerful and authentic, and you just feel those actors up there. That cast is so sublime, and you can feel their passion for this material, for each other, for telling this story. I think it makes that theater kind of electric.
Yeah. That cast bonded quickly.
Yeah.
And have each other's backs, right?
Yeah. Well, you have people like Nikki James and Jen Colella, people who have really been in this business for a lot of years as kind of our leaders in the group. And then we have this incredible ensemble of people, including Shayna, who are making their Broadway debuts. So it is the best mix, both in terms of age and experience level, people who have been with the project like Jen and Nikki for 7.5 years now, other people who are new for this particular moment of the journey. So it's really allowed us to, I think, hold on to what has been always so special about the show, and then to reimagine and recreate anew.
Yeah. What I also love, it's a show written by a woman,
Yes.
directed by a woman,
Yes.
performed by an all-female and non-binary cast.
Yes.
I mean, what that means to a female cast.
I mean, look, it feels like a story like this about women gaining power and autonomy is not necessarily what Broadway was made for, and so it feels like progress. I mean, it feels like the kind of imperfect progress that happens inside of our show is also happening here at Suffs, and it's like it feels like more than a show. It feels a little bit like a revolution.
Yeah. But you know, what I love about this season, what Broadway used to give us all the time, there was something different for every taste.
Yeah.
There were family musicals, there were adult musicals, there were comedies, there were dramas, there were heavy pieces, lighter pieces. I mean, don't you think this whole season has been that way?
I do. I mean, it's been really, it's so exciting. I mean, on our block to have Stereophonic, to have Water for Elephants, to have The Notebook, you know, shows that, first of all, particularly the musicals that feature so much work by women. And that has been really exciting. Ingrid Michaelson and Jessica Stone at Water for Elephants. And we had Kimberly Akimbo for a long time across the street. And it's just, that has been really exciting. And I think this is the best of what Broadway can offer, which is you can have spectacle, you can have the shows that make you cry, you can have the shows that make you think, you can have the shows that inspire you, and it's an incredible array of talent this season. It's really amazing. But I will say, because Suffs is really one of the only original musicals that premiered this season, and with Lempicka closing, it remains the only original musical of this season that's not based on an album or on IP, a movie or a book. And so I think that makes Suffs feel, you know, it's for the community. It's part of the community, and it's made by people like myself who have, you know, spent their lives trying to, you know, participate inside of the community. It feels really exciting.
See, what I also love about it is I love to learn about history through musical theater. You know, we've had certain shows that did that, and this is one of these things. After I left it at the public, I was like, oh my God, I got all these books and I learned about everything.
It's one of my favorite comments about the show, because people say the same thing. I was the same way. I didn't learn this history. I don't know these people. And of course, we are talking about a very small number of people in the last 7 years of the movement. There were 65 years of the movement before the show even starts. So I like to think that maybe this will have, you know, spin-offs, like we'll have more musicals about other Suffs, and that this could be, you know, the next Marvel universe, the suffrage universe, because it feels like we don't know these women's names, we don't know their stories, and this is just, you know, again, a small sampling of the women who fought tirelessly and are unremembered, unrecognized for the progress that they made.
Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit about CMU.
Yeah.
Did you go to college to become a director? Did you go
there? I did. I was in the undergrad directing program, and which is one of the very few programs that exist for undergrad directors. I actually went to the Carnegie Mellon pre-college summer program between my junior and senior year of high school. And there was a teacher there who saw me.
Yeah.
Like, saw me. and he was like, I want you to come to college. And he admitted me on the spot for the following year. So I went back to high school as a senior, and I knew I was already into college. And I started at Carnegie Mellon the next year. And actually, while I was there, I got really excited about the idea of working with playwrights. And at the time, there was no intersection between the directors and the playwrights. And so I actually applied to the playwriting program. And I spent my last 2 years there as both an undergrad director and a graduate playwright. And it was so difficult, so much hard work, but it was incredible. And it was really there that I learned about not only what it takes to write a play, but how to talk to writers. And I think I learned as much about directing, if not more, while I was a playwright, because I learned about character and story and structure and collaboration. And it was the combination of those two, I think, positioned me so beautifully. And I had such a rare, special experience there because I got to live in both of those worlds simultaneously.
I love that they offer so much.
Yeah. Yeah. The program, I think, has changed quite a bit. And of course, I was there few years ago, but it's still, I think, an extraordinary program, and the people who come out of there, no matter which of the disciplines they're studying, they've had this incredible opportunity to study with other people who want a conservatory training program and who want to focus so specifically in one way, and it's an incredible time. I mean, it's so much hard work. I think one of the things that was so amazing about it was that I think I worked on something like 43 shows or something in 4 years. Like, it was wild, but that kind of training, like actual training, being in class all day, working on crew for a show at night, rehearsing for my homework the next day, meeting with people at 11:30 at night to rehearse scene work that we were going to do the next day in class. I mean, that has prepared me so well all these years for being a freelance theater director. It was an amazing program.
Because they offer you all these tools that you've taken into your career now, right?
Oh, yeah. I think about it all the time. And then there's the community of people that I went to school with, who I run into on the street, who are here. It's truly an amazing, it's an amazing place, and it has been exciting to feel my classmates and people that I was there with, or people who I only heard about. So for example, like Emily Skinner, she was a Carnegie Mellon alumni before I was there, and her name was like whispered with reverence in the halls, and it's a thrill. She's in Suffs, and it's an incredible, I mean, we weren't there at the same time, but it feels like coming home to work with her. We have a lot of shared history, even though we weren't there at the same time. And some of it, of course, like all school is, mixed, but it is, for the most part, an incredibly positive, shared understanding about how to make theater that we have.
Yeah. But everybody who I've spoken to this season who's nominated for a Tony Award, who went to CMU, said they were seen. Like you said, there was a teacher that said, I see you.
Yeah. Yeah. What was so amazing about that teacher, his name's Jed Harris, to say his name, and I was in his first, so when he was teaching at pre-college, he wasn't a full-time faculty member yet, so I was in his first class when he was a full-time faculty member, and he has now since retired, and it feels like such an incredible journey that I got to take with him, and he really got me, he saw me, he lifted up the work that I wanted to do, and I'm so grateful to him.
And now you work on Broadway.
Now I work on Broadway. It's crazy. It's so exciting, and I feel very, very proud.
If you could sum up the best part of the experience of working on Suffs, because you've worked on so many incredible shows and the journey you've been on with this, what's one of the best things about working on Suffs for you?
Really having people sing the songs as they're walking out. Yeah. That feels so gratifying, because I think the time that goes into writing those lyrics, rewriting those lyrics, those late night texts, the early morning phone calls, the work that Shayna and I put in together, the work she put in alone, the inspiration and vision that she had. And I just think from that moment through to when the doors open at the end of the show and people walk out, and it happens every night. They walk up the aisle going, keep marching, keep marching. And I just think that's right. That's right. It is enormously gratifying.
Yeah. Have you chosen a Tony outfit?
Oh God, it's crazy. I'm gonna wear. I wore a jumpsuit to the opening, and so I think I'm gonna wear a suit to the Tonys.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'll see you on the carpet.
Yes.
I love your show. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The best.